Hi folks, I'm clinical psychologist Dr. Paris Monroe, and I'm here with two very special people. The first being my wife Sharon Monroe, who has been working with me for quite some time now. But I also have with today a guest, Miss Makia M. Jones. What is the nickname?
Nicole. MJ House.
MJ Hops. MJ Hops. And it's a new nickname that she has generated for herself because she used to walk very fine some time back, but because of a very traumatic incident that she had about 4 years ago now, she has come up with the nickname MJ Hops. She hops now. Hopefully not for very long, but currently for right now anyway, until the rest of her operations are completed. She's had many operations already because of the traumatic experience that she had, but there are more operations to go. She will be in and out of hospitals for quite some time still. It's a very traumatic story. Wife, please say hi.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
And Miss
Good to
Jones,
hear.
please say hi too.
Hello, everybody.
Okay, well, Miss Mikia Jones would like to, she's here to answer some questions about her event and all of the things, all of the other circumstances that have happened since then. So, Miss Mikia Jones, what happened long ago? What happened long ago?
On May the 24th of 2015, I was shot 10 times with an AK-47 and a 40.
That was incredible, incredible, incredible. Shot 10 times with an AK-47, the number one weapon of America's enemies,
Yes.
and also a 40 millimeter Glock.
Yes.
Incredible,
It
incredible,
is very
incredible.
incredible.
So, what happened? What happened?
Me and my children was at home. We had just got in, and they were upstairs, and I was downstairs in the doorway of my apartment, and a shooting. I was shot. I didn't realize I was shot already. I didn't know until someone had said I was shot, and I looked down and seen a water fountain of blood coming out.
Did they kick in the doors and such?
No,
What happened? How'd they
Um,
get in, or what happened?
they didn't come in. They were standing across the street, and I was had my door open,
Mm-hmm.
and they was across the street, so I was technically standing in my doorway, and they just standing across the street, just shooting. So they were shooting up the whole complex.
Bullets flying all over?
Yeah, bullets flying everywhere, everywhere. Yeah, so they shot up the whole complex, and I took 10 of those shots. So,
It's incredible.
It is incredible.
And then they just packed up and left?
yes.
Wow. And so there you were in your doorway, bleeding to death.
Yes.
Obviously, 10 bullet shots, my goodness.
Yeah.
Incredible.
That is good.
Yeah, so what happened next? Someone called or something?
Um,
You probably did not.
No, I believe someone called and the paramedics and everyone came like maybe 30 minutes after the paramedics was initially called. 30 minutes later, that's when they came. Well, the last bullet to my leg, like 2 seconds later, that's when the police came. So if they would have came at a decent amount of time, they could have had everyone. They could have had the shooters, but
Did they ever get the shooters?
I haven't really.
You don't really know. But when the last bullet hit your leg, the police were there very shortly after?
Yes, yes, yes. Like when the bullet was going in my leg, they was right at the corner.
Wow.
That's how it
But
was.
these guys packed up in a car and took off.
Yes, they picked up and yeah.
Okay, okay.
Who
So
called the police?
I believe one of the next door neighbors, or I might have called, but I lost my phone. I think I called, but my phone ended up dropping or something, and then the other neighbors had got a chance to call the police. So I can't be exact on who all called.
unbelievable, unbelievable.
Yeah.
So you were lying there. They called 911. Well, the police called the ambulance, whatever.
Yeah.
And
One lying, I was hopping. I was hopping.
you were still moving.
Yeah, I was still moving. I was still moving. Like
Unbelievable,
didn't
unbelievable.
happen. I just picked
Still
up
in
the
some
zone.
sort of shock thing or something, I guess.
Like, I didn't know I was already shot so many times. I didn't know. Only two shots I honestly knew about was my hip and my leg. I knew about my hip because someone said, "Hey, I was shot," and I looked down and seen the water fountain of blood. This one is when I thought the shooting was over, and it wasn't. But I ended up stepping on the full porch, coming out my door and stepping on a porch, and that's when the shot came. And yeah, I was just like, oh, I can't walk no more. So it's like I was still aware, very much aware. I just didn't know how many times I was hit. I only knew about that one.
Wow.
So he still had my mind.
That's
It was
incredible.
just like the best part to me.
That's incredible.
Sure.
So they call the ambulance, but it took almost 30 minutes for the ambulance. So were the police doing some sort of first aid thing?
No, they didn't want to touch me.
They do?
No, they didn't want to touch me. I guess I didn't know how I looked, but I'm assuming bullet was hanging out of my eyes. So I guess I don't know. They just didn't help me. I asked them could they help me sit down, but they didn't touch me. They didn't do anything. I say
I don't get that.
when the paramedics came, it took I'll never forget him, but he was a special guy. He was the first one to really, okay, this is what we need to go. We need to get you together. Like he took charge, a real person, a caring person. He took charge, and that's when he got everything under control. And was like, okay, she's been shot in her head, and y'all don't see this, y'all don't. But it was because of him that he got everything on the ball.
So they packed you up and raced you off to the hospital. Emergency, no doubt.
Yeah, it wasn't that simple for me either. My kids are still at home. My kids are in the house. I didn't want to leave the scene no matter what condition I was in because my kids were still
Sure,
home.
sure, sure.
So until I knew my mom had my kids, I wanted to let them leave. I didn't care.
So a call was put into mom. She came racing over.
Yep. They called my mom, and 2 minutes later, she was at the scene. That's when I told them, okay, y'all can go take me to the hospital. I'm cool.
Okay.
Get to the hospital. They were trying to see how many times I got shot. But once again, I wouldn't let them finish anything because I didn't know the status of my kids or my mom. And those were my biggest concerns. The detective at the time, he came in and told me my mom and my kids were okay. So I let them do what they gotta do.
Okay.
I was asleep.
Yeah. But you never blacked out in that whole time or anything then? Wow.
No,
That's
Wow.
I didn't
Incredible.
black out.
Incredible.
Like I was just like we
Lots
are
of-
sitting here. Like,
Lots
it
of
was-
pain? Not
No, I
not
didn't. I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel anything. It was just like I wasn't shot. I was just shot in the leg. As far as everything else, I didn't feel any. I didn't have no pain. I didn't feel what they say, the burning sensation once you feel the water. I didn't feel any of that. I was literally still in my right frame of mind. I was like I'd never been shot. I didn't feel anything, any pain.
Yeah.
My elbow was hanging off, and I can look at it just like, oh, I didn't feel any pain. I
Unbelievable.
didn't feel
That
anything.
is
Unbelievable.
God thing.
That was definitely God because I.
That's
didn't-
an interesting thing. We'll have to talk about that point.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting point. That's
Yeah.
a theory of mine, and by God, she just stumbled across it. So that's
Yeah,
good.
he,
That's good.
Kept me.
So when they took you to the hospital, you were there for a little while then.
I was in the hospital for 2 months.
Wow. Starting right then, 2 months.
2 months. I had to relearn literally everything over. How to walk, talk, eat, everything to basic necessities.
Lots of operations, lots
Yeah.
of treatment, lots of.
Yeah.
I know. I
Definitely.
remember when you came out of the hospital, you were in a wheelchair. You came by a few times.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be wheelchair bound. This is all metal. I have no hip. So they technically want me in a wheelchair, but I have 3 kids, so I can't afford to sit down.
So when you were in there for 2 months, is that when they did all the metal implants
Yes.
to patch you up? Metal implants, plates, screws, rods,
Yes.
all sorts of stuff.
Yes. That was 2
Unbelievable.
months of work.
Yeah. So at least you could get around and get back home again.
Yes, and I was waiting. I was ready to get out the hospital. Can't.
That's quite a remarkable story because I deal with lots of the shooting victims, I suppose you could say, because I work with so many the combat veterans, PTSD, and of course they're out there in the combat field, Iraq, Afghanistan, many of the Vietnam guys, the guys from the Gulf War. and they've been shot plenty themselves, many of them with bullet wounds and Purple Hearts and so on and so forth, like that. And a lot of people believe that PTSD only happens to combat veterans. I can understand why that title is given to them, but civilians,
Yeah.
certain, you're living proof of that, but there's many others too. I would say that the military is the largest percentage of PTSD victims, but the civilian ranks have more PTSD victims than even the military ranks because of the size of the population, of course. And the crime these days is outrageous with all the shootings and stuff that are going on, just totally outrageous. So there's many victims out there with that have been shot at, carjacked, so on and so forth like that. It's incredible, and you're certainly one of them too. You're one of the top ones as far as what you went through that I've ever experienced. Totally incredible. So anyway, this all happened 4 years ago.
It'll be 4 years on the 24th of this month.
Yeah, which is only a few days away. And so it's been nothing but hospitals and doctors ever since then, trying to get your life together. Just for one question I had that I asked you once before, I don't know how it is. Were you ever awarded anything, victims of crime or anything? Did the city
No.
or county or state come to your aid on that?
No.
And you were in the news, were you not? I certainly didn't see it, but I hardly ever do.
I did an interview with Elliot Davis. But,
And did they air that?
I believe so. Elliot Davis, you paid for it. Fox 2. I believe they did air it, but I didn't watch it.
Anyway, so you're certainly not in that house no more,
No.
and you're relocated for right now,
Yes.
and everything is going okay for you right now.
Yes.
Okay. So when you finally came out of the hospital, went back home, I guess that was a very good time for you. Defines
no.
it.
No.
That's like the worst time.
How come?
Because actually, when I got out the hospital, we didn't have nowhere to live, and I couldn't do anything.
Because you lost your
I
apartment.
lost everything.
And not only did you lose your apartment, but what happened there? Everything was stolen.
Everything. Yeah, yeah. They stole everything out the apartment.
Who's they?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I guess people. I technically don't know who. A lot of people stole everything out of the apartment. Yeah, money I did save up, a safe. Everything was gone.
So you had money saved up in a safe?
Yeah.
They took the safe.
They took the safe. Yeah.
Yeah, no, safes are kind of okay, but those little portable safes, they just grab them and go.
Yeah. It was a big one. It was my brother had gave me a big black one because I had just got my taxes back. And just was getting my kids ready for school, so I can restart our life basically. But they picked up the black safe, and how they did it, I don't know, but they took it.
Yeah, oh yeah, they grabbed it.
Yeah.
I'm sure
They
it was
have
fairly,
them way.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was fairly heavy, but
Yeah.
they're going to grab that thing anyway, and
Yeah.
they don't need the combination. They got sledgehammer.
Yeah. 'Cause they,
So,
Really?
oh yeah, they'll get in there.
I was
Bullet
wondering
holes
how.
and sledgehammers, yeah, they'll get
Yeah.
it. Terrible. So when you came back, there was nothing there
Yeah,
at
it
all.
wasn't nothing. Not even kids' clothes. Not even kids' shoes.
Unbelievable.
My
Yeah,
goodness.
they took literally everything. It's like they took all my kids' new clothes, old clothes, new clothes, old clothes, they shoes, and they left my daughter one pair of somebody else's shoes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've had to scramble, help from family, friends, whatever,
Yeah.
to try and put it back together again.
Yeah.
Has not been easy at all.
No.
Hmm.
No, not at all. Recovering, but he's been providing.
So I know you've mentioned it several times. So you're not blaming God for this at all.
No, I actually thank him for it personally. It's just me. I thank him.
How so?
Yeah. I was thinking.
Oh my God. I thank him because before the shooting, I was already going through a hard time with 3 kids on my back and doing everything on my own. So once I got shot, it helped me understand life within itself. For everything that I went through, it was a lesson behind it. everything happened for a reason. I'm a strong believer in that it all happened for a reason, and my reason was to get the lesson. Help me be a better mother to my kids. Help me love myself more. Get to know me. Um, it's just a lot. So I thank him because through it all, I met great people along the way. People that I never
Would have met
personally
any
would have
other
met.
way.
I wouldn't. Um, experience things that I never would have experienced. Like this for once.
So you definitely went through the valley of the shadow of death.
Yes. Yes.
But
I
you
really
found
did.
out that God was with you,
Yeah. Every step of the way.
and He comforted you,
Every step of the way.
and He has continued to do so.
Still.
So it's been a struggle as far as man concerned, as far as life on this planet, but you know that there is a God, He is real, He does exist, and He's got your back.
Yes. Yes.
And that
Yes,
gives you
there's-
lots of warmth and safety, security.
Yes.
So he turned it all around.
He turned it all around.
And made it into
Glory.
real
I call it glory.
glory.
Yeah. Because we was a broken family. Me and my kids was broken. And I think this situation had to happen in order for us to heal as a family again, because our life was turned upside down. And me as a mother and having kids, I didn't know how to cope.
Single parent.
Single parent. So yeah, I didn't know how to cope. I didn't know which way to go. So he had to break me to make me whole again, basically. And
He does do that.
I like that. Break me to
make me whole again.
Yeah.
So yeah, he broke me, and I'm happy. My heart, my mind, I'm at peace. I found peace. I found myself as a woman, a mother, a daughter, a aunt. I found myself, and that's the most important thing for any woman, I feel, is to find yourself, to find your self-worth, because we forget. We let life just take over.
Sure, we let life take over, but there's many. So in a way, you're kind of glad you went through what you went through to learn the things that you would never have learned any other way, and that learning there gives you peace. Whereas before, as you said, as a broken family, lots of anxiety, unanswered questions. But when you went through that thing, that event there, and the family united, and you learned so much from God because He taught you, He spoke to you, you prayed to Him, you called out to Him, He answered you, and gave you this peace.
Yes.
Because there's so many people who go through what you go through and they do not have peace. But then they do not go to God, which is the giver of peace in these traumatic incidents. And I think it's for exactly what you said, to go through something like this and to see that there is a God, He is real, it does exist, and the things that He has taught you through this sort of thing that you would never have learned any other way. You want, if that's all you had to do to go through what you learned, to learn what you learned, you would do it.
Yeah, I'd do it all over again. I would.
Because that is by far a bigger and greater thing.
It's the best. It's the best. Best feeling in the world. Just to your whole mind, body, soul, everything to be on one accord is honestly one of the best feelings in the world. 'Cause when everything is on one accord, I just feel everything's running so smoothly, and it can get a better understanding of a lot of things, a better understanding. I just think that's the most. Keep your mind, because our mind is our worst enemy. So to keep your sanity is like the best. To have that peace of mind is like the best. Because at first I didn't have it, and when I didn't have it, it showed. It was like my life was scattered.
Sure.
Because my brain, it wasn't matching up. Everything was scattered. So now that I have it, it's like.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you came with
Yeah.
today for this interview and stuff. And of course, I want to have you back too, because this is something that so many PTSD, trauma, anxiety, fear people need to hear. Is someone who's been there, done that, as much as anyone can be there and do that is you. You know, there's going to be very few people who went through much more than what you went through. But then the fact that you have peace after that is the remarkable thing. I deal with so many of these people, they do not have peace. I hope some of them do, but if they do, then I'm not seeing them. But because they have peace, so why would they see me? But for so many of them that do come in that do not have peace, and this is exactly the message I try to get them to see and understand, and they cannot wrap their brains around it, they cannot grasp it. So to hear it directly from you is great. Great.
Well,
Definitely
you're the
do
best 'cause
appreciate
you helped me along.
well, thank you, Marcy.
If it weren't for you and God, I wouldn't have as much peace. I wouldn't be at as much peace.
Yeah, we're certainly hoping that their follow-up operations are successful. I know there's complications, things are not going so well in that regard there, but you still feel good. Fortunately, it's amazing that you can get around. My goodness.
Yeah.
For as much wounding as bullets that you took, my goodness, that you're even alive, much less can walk. Not great, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But you can, and not even with a walker, with a cane. You have that cane, so that's great, and you got to be happy about that. But I know that there's still lots of medical things that have to be tended to. So I know, because your next thing in the hospital is that you're going to be there for a year.
Yes.
Oh my.
Be in the hospital for a whole year.
When they finally, which you should have been like 4 or 5 months ago.
Yes.
And it's still on delay, so I don't know when this year is going to start, but. But another thing I'm very happy about too is that you're writing a book.
Yes.
Yay. This book needs to be wrote. There's no doubt about that. So I know you probably haven't got, I don't know if you got a title for it yet, and an expected time of completion.
The title will be soon. I have ideas, but I'm
not quite sure
not
which way you're going to go yet.
Yeah.
And
That ought to be a good book.
I'm praying. I'm praying.
well, I'm sure it's going to be
Yeah,
great.
it is.
And so that might be several more months away or something. Okay.
And how many people can you help with that book?
I'm praying if I could just touch one.
Yeah, if you can get just one, that would be great. Any more than that would be even greater. Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, the word needs to get out. Jesus came through.
Yeah, I'm nervous. Yeah.
Well, you'll get it out. I'm sure you'll get some help on that and all that sort of stuff. So we're looking forward to that. Definitely looking forward to that coming out. That'll definitely be a necessary and needed thing.
Yeah.
Other people are going to have to read that.
Yeah.
You have a lot to say. Been through a lot. The struggle is still going on.
Yeah.
Mentally, physically. But the thing that I'm happy about too is that you have this peace too.
Yeah.
You're not blaming God. You're not mad at Him. You're not asking how come me. You know that this is a dangerous life, and this can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
God willing, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And typically, He's going to let it happen for a purpose.
Yeah.
And the purpose in this case is, I think, at least one of the ways is to tell your story to other people so that they can see what they have to do when they're faced with similar type circumstances.
I'm getting there. I'm a little nervous.
Oh, well, you might be a little bit nervous,
Yeah.
but we're going to have you on a couple more times, I'm sure. Looking forward to that, and get more facts and details from you and how you're doing and how things are going for you and such.
You've come through a lot.
Yes.
God has a plan.
He definitely has a plan. He definitely has a plan.
Yeah, and I think he definitely has a plan, and he definitely wants you to tell all as much as possible, because there are so many people, combat veterans of course, but civilians too, that never been on the combat field, that went through exactly what you went through, that need to hear it, exactly what they need to do to get well. The healing part as far as physical, that's one thing. We have the doctors, they can do that. But the mental thing, because so many people that went through they have the nightmares, the night terrors, the night sweats, and you had that for a little while too.
Yes.
But that's all pretty much gone.
Yes. Peace.
Which is very rare, because I have worked with so many people with PTSD, combat veterans, civilians too, and who had the nightmares, night sweats, and they're still having that 10, 20, 30, and 50 years later for some of my Vietnam clients. Still nightmares and night sweats. They have not learned and did what you've done.
Yeah. I'm getting to with God. Yes.
I know. I know. So hopefully, I'm hoping that with your help and your interviews and such like that, that you can help some of these people too that need to understand the God connection. Into yes, there is a God. He is really does exist, and He wants to help us people. This land is a temporary test trial life to see who's going to make it, who's going to overcome the obstacles of life. And you have a tremendous obstacle that you have overcome.
Yes.
Doctors got to do their part, but as far as mentally being at peace with God on this thing, you have certainly done your part. The doctors can't help you on that.
No. They definitely can't. They wouldn't even understand. So
No.
I don't believe.
No, not a bit, not a bit.
God
Sounds-
is my number one. Dr. Monroe number 2.
And he has a plan for you.
Yes, he does. On that journey.
Sounds excellent. All right. Well, thank you very much. Well, let's call it a day today. Let's wrap this thing up for today then, okay?
Okay.
Okay, Mikia, thanks so much for coming on. Sharon, thanks for being here too.
Mhm.
And that'll be it for today. Until next time.
Peace, world.
Peace world. Thank you much, folks.